mean, I think there was two very specific ones, and actually one of them I remember, and I didn't think about it when I was doing Atlas, but Terminator 2 with Linda Hamilton. I don't know if you guys remember that film. And so now to be able to do something like it, it's not exactly that, but you know, that type of character. The other character that I really loved and that Brad and I spoke about very much while we were filming was Ripley in Alien. Sigourney Weaver. So those two for me were the most iconic kind of sci-fi action movie characters that.
One of the reasons why I love Cameron, right, is Aliens, where he works with Sigourney, and then Linda Hamilton in Terminator, and the tone that he makes and how awesome he makes female badass women. You're just like, that guy's the greatest at doing this. And so yeah, those are the two excellent touchstones.
Yeah, I mean, playing Harlan as an artificial intelligence, I think there's a lot of blueprints out there. I think starting from Kubrick in 2001, even like the voice of Hal, who is so kind of even keeled and chilling. And then, you know, I was a huge Star Trek fan growing up, so I loved Brent Spiner as Data. I thought it was phenomenal, and so I just tried to take, although those are all kind of friendly AIs, I tried to take that voice and that kind of friendly disposition, kind of warp it in a way to make it unsettling.
I mean, technology is advancing all the time, and obviously there's a lot of it that makes me nervous. I mean, you know, when you think about artificial intelligence, and even this movie itself kind of does a good job of showing both sides of the story, which is kind of what can go really, really right with AI and how we can really use them to be a greater version of ourselves in a way, and then how it can go really, really wrong with like Simu's character, where they can destroy and take over and kind of obliterate humanity. So I think right now, for me, when I think about it, it's a big question, right? There's an idea of like we have to have a lot of respect when it comes to artificial intelligence. It's just like any technology. I remember in the music business when the internet came around and everybody was like, oh, it's never gonna take over music. And I was like, okay, well that happens. And so you just have to really be open to the fact that there's gonna be changes all the time, and not changes that some people can predict and some people just can't foresee because we get so stuck in our own reality. But yeah, I think it's about respecting it and not letting it kind of take over in any way, but using it to aid us in the best ways that it
can. I mean, no, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was inspirational. I definitely had butterflies knowing that I was gonna have to work with her. In my mind, she's always made in Manhattan, Jen. So it was tough for me to get into the mindset of trying to kill her. It was very not what I would say would be my natural state, but it was incredible. It was incredible. And I've so appreciated getting to know her better over the course of promoting this movie as well.
I'm not like a super technical guy, actually. I mean, everyone thinks like because I do lots of visual effects and explosions, I am, but I'm not. I'm actually more of like a pencil and light board. I come from animation.
Do you guys use
People
like
love it though.
GPT for anything?
I don't.
Yeah, I've started using ChatGPT to come up with travel itineraries for me. Like if I'm going somewhere, I'll be like, give me like a 3-day itinerary of Palermo, Italy, or like, you know, Mexico City, 3 days. What would I do? And GPT will like tell you, you know, you can say.
Tell me where are the best places to shop and all that.
Yes, as long as it's before 2022 or wherever GPT goes into. But it will. You can say this is where I'm staying. Find me an itinerary where like I'm not bouncing around the city, like where everything kind of. Yeah, I think scary is a great word, and I think it's imperative to me that we keep in mind humanity always comes first, and like decision making should always. I think Harlan is the perfect example of why AI should never be used for decision making. We should never let algorithms and data be the decision-making leaders. I mean, we should use those things to enhance and as tools and to inform exactly, but never to lead. I don't want to work in an industry where every single creative decision is made by data or an algorithm. I want these decisions to be made by passion and human emotion. There's a filmmaker who loves to tell a story. This is the story they want to tell. Like that's the movie that we should make. And if the story is true and the emotionality is there and the character is good, then people will watch it. Those things can't be quantified by data.
I had an interesting experience because I worked with a couple of futurists before we made the movie, and it was to do everything like talk about like weapon systems, propulsion systems, ecology. Like I didn't want to show Los Angeles in the beginning of the movie like you've seen it like with Mad Max or something where it's all sand dunes. Like I wanted to try to figure out what would really happen in probably about 100 years. And that's why you see these giant arrays for solar power in our version of Los Angeles. And he had a really interesting thing that he said to me about AI, and it sort of was my true north for making the movie, and it was very much in line with what I wanted to do intuitively, which was he said AI is a tool. It's like a hammer. A hammer can do a lot of harm, and a hammer can do a lot of good. Like you could build a house with a hammer and save lives. And when he said that to me, I realized that's exactly what I want to do. I want to show that AI is something that's basically here today now, but it doesn't excuse us people from being responsible. We are the responsible entities of it. It is a tool. We have to take ourselves in full responsibility of how we use it. And this movie shows that. It shows the full good of it and how humanity can grow and expand and go way beyond itself. And then it shows how nasty Simu can be and try to kill everybody.
I mean, I feel like we've been saving the world from the beginning of time. Women, I think Atlas is a great character. I think because of all of the toughness that she shows initially and all of the kind of fearlessness about going against, kind of the powers that be, which is what you have to be a woman. That's what it is to be a woman. You have to kind of go against the grain. You have to fight harder. You have to do these things. But also for her tremendous vulnerability and her tremendous kind of pain that she carries. I feel that as women, that is a big part of our journey as well. And she represents both sides of that in a really beautiful way, I think. Everybody thinks she's crazy. Nobody wants to listen to her. This is like experience that women have all the time. She's criticized.
There's a lot of men in this movie that don't believe you.
That don't believe her. And I can understand and relate to that, and I know a lot of other women can too, especially in my own business. There's always this thing as a woman, and especially as a Latina, to kind of in this business to be taken seriously, to be working at the highest echelons of your industry and what that comes with. And I think Atlas really represents all of the greatest parts of women, their vulnerability and their strength.
Because you're bringing to life both
Inanimate. Neither of them have genitals. I did it. I found a similarity.
Thank you.
Your genes.
No, ¿cómo dice genitals?
Genitales.
Genitales.
Ninguno genitales.
Ken y Harlan no
tiene.
tiene genitales.